Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday and welcome to Market of the Moment. No, I am not Don Tchaikovsky. Don decided to take a day off, which I keep telling him Thursdays are not allowed, and I don't know why it keeps happening. But you are stuck with me today. I'm Sharon Terhune, the Vice President and Sales Manager for Fidelity National Title. Have a great group with us today, and I'm going to start making some introductions. The subject matter today ideally is going to be to talk some investor talk. Chris Eymann is trying to get on with us and having some connection issues, so he may just appear on our screen at any given moment as he just texted me. So we'll see. But as you know, Chris Eymann is the owner of Sell Wholesale Homes and Sell Wholesale Funding, a great partner of ours, and also runs and manages the PHX REIA that meets monthly with all of our investor partners. Dena Jones is here with me as well, and Dena Jones is our Director of Marketing and Social Strategy. She also does the PHX REIA with Chris Eymann, so has a lot of great insight on that. Definitely want to touch on that at some point today, whether Chris makes it or not, because we are going back in person next month, and so definitely excited about that, and maybe talk about some of the subject matters we've talked about in the past. We also have here, of course, our motley crew that joins us every week. Miss Mindy Jones, owner of the Amy Jones Group, Keller Williams Integrity First, always here to share so much insight on the market and what that looks like, where we're at. It's hard to believe we're halfway through June, which is unbelievable to me. Almost half the year's gone by. So we're also going to maybe touch a little bit on some database conversation today too, which I'm excited about and what that looks like. We are also joined, of course, by Amber Kovarik, who's with Guild Mortgage and manages an amazing team and over there at Guild. So important to have the right partners in place. We talk about this every single week on this show. And these two ladies right here, Mindy and Amber, are just a perfect description of that, because you need to have the right real estate partner in place to get your transactions closed, and you need to have the best lender partner to help strategize with you in today's market. We're seeing a lot of different things come about on creative financing, for lack of a better word. It's not really financing, but it's a creative way to get the financing done, I guess. All right. Yes. So, I really, what I'd love to do, ladies, if you're good with this, Amber, we're going to switch it up a bit. I would love to start with you today and talk about what's going on in interest rate world and what you're seeing with bonds and all that goodness. And if you can kind of let us know where you're sitting today, that would be great.
Yes, lots of news today, because yesterday was the Federal Reserve meeting, and after the announcement in the afternoon, we saw the bond market just get crushed. So it was a really brutal day. Didn't really know what to expect from that meeting, but essentially what came out was Chairman Powell was really talking about inflation being much higher than they had anticipated. And the markets perceive this to be that inflation will continue to rise. Inflation is the arch enemy of bonds. It devalues them. So anytime we're in a inflationary environment, it causes interest rates to go up. And so because of the concerns of this rising inflation, we saw interest rates go up right about 0.25% just yesterday afternoon after that Fed announcement. So we are today starting to rebound a little bit. After the last few Fed meetings, we have seen some knee-jerk reactions. Just, I think everybody's a little bit on edge right now with seeing these high inflation numbers. We've had two recently, PPI and CPI, both inflation numbers, and they've both been way hotter than anticipated. And so coming into this meeting and then the Fed sort of reaffirming that inflation is higher than they want, it just caused this sell-off yesterday. I watch an analyst that I think is super duper smart. He seems to be right a majority of the time, and he really feels like this will be similar to the past Fed meetings where the market will digest the news, kind of calm down, and within about a week or so, we will likely see interest rates come back down to where they were prior to the meeting, but we'll just have to wait it out and kind of see how it goes. The masses believe that we will continue to see inflation increase. The Fed has dumped just tons of money into the economy to try to stimulate, and some of the reports are showing that we have a strong economy, but when you really like deep dive into it, the economy is just really not that strong. And I think we will continue to see numbers come out that show that. And, you know, his opinion, which I agree with, is that we've probably peaked on our inflation numbers and we'll likely start to see it come down. And so I really think that interest rates will sit in the same range of like high 2s to mid 3s. But it's just going to be interesting. If the Fed starts talking about tapering of their mortgage-backed security purchases, that is going to cause interest rates to go up. What we have to remember is that interest rates are artificially low still, and that is because the Fed is purchasing mortgage-backed securities. The market knows they're going to stop, so that's why we're seeing these huge reactions to the Fed meetings, because they're like, oh my gosh, inflation's high, they're going to start tapering, interest rates are going to go up, I got to sell my stuff now. Right. And they didn't talk about tapering yesterday, but it's just kind of the writing is on the wall. People are perceiving that they'll start tapering sooner than later. But if you start hearing news about that, expect interest rates to make a large jump up. I mean, we're talking 0.5% to 1% higher in interest rate, most likely, once we start really having talks of tapering. Wow. And, you know, this analyst said something that I really love. And he said, like, in his business school, one of the first days of class with one of his professors, he wrote on the board, the mass is always wrong. And so he's like, the masses right now want to talk about the economy is strengthening and inflation is rising and all these things. And he's like, I don't agree with any of it. So there's obviously differing opinions all the time. So we'll see what happens. But as of right now, we've seen a worsening in interest rates. We'll keep an eye on things. But as you see high inflation reports or signs of tapering, that's what's going to drive interest rates up.
Right. So Amber, can you just, for the general public, what does an interest rate change of 0.5% or 1%, the things that you're talking about, what does that equate for somebody when they're looking to buy maybe a $350,000 or $400,000 house? What could that look like?
Yeah, so I mean, 1/8% is probably going to move their payment about $30 a month, right? So if we're up a quarter, somewhere around $60 a month in difference. So it's not necessarily enough to, you know, rock the boat, but with the higher prices, the lower interest rates are helping, right? So it's a really good time to buy and be we've talked about this a lot, very aggressive and strategic in your offers so that you can buy while interest rates are low, because they will go up. Like the Fed will not forever and always buy mortgage-backed securities to drive them low. So it's really like buy now before prices and rates go up. And yes, it could be challenging to buy, but I feel like 3/4 of Arizona has left the building right now. Like even my parking lot at my office looks like COVID time again. There's like 5 cars in the parking lot. Right. And it was not like that like 2 weeks ago. So I'm excited to hear what Mindy has to say about inventory, but I'm like, if so many people are out of here, I mean, if you look on your social media feed, I feel like everyone's traveling. Maybe there's some more opportunity for people to go out there and, you know, win some offers right now. But buy now, and maybe this little jump up will kind of like kick some people in the pants of like, oh gosh, you're right. This is not like a given to have these low interest rates. It's a gift that we have right now that eventually is going to go away.
Right.
I definitely think the next probably 4 to 6 weeks, there is an opportune time for buyers to make a move. I think it's in part what you're talking about, in part inventory, which we'll talk about. But I definitely feel kind of the way that I felt when COVID first hit last year and we got to like the end of March, early April timeframe. There was, I think, like a 9-day period where we just told buyers, go buy anything that you can buy because sellers are nervous. Like you've got this very small window, and so much of that is just kind of this gut feeling. Right after you've been doing this long enough, you can start to feel things in the market that are very slight. And I definitely would say it feels like the next 4 to 6 weeks, there is a good opportunity, a really good opportunity for buyers.
Well, especially if everybody's traveling, because like you said, they're not here. So go, those of you that want to go find some opportunities, stay here and work, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, you know, it's interesting because, you know, what we've seen with the increase in values of homes and that going up so dramatically on a monthly basis and year over year. You're right, Amber, we're pricing people out. And if the interest rates, you know, being low are helping people get houses that they definitely would not probably have been able to do at the level that they went to. And with these prices going up, it's not going to get any better if the interest rates are going up with it. So now's the time for sure to buy. Absolutely. 1,000,000%. Thank you. Well, and you know what I love about Amber is she's such a professional in the industry she's in, and really sits down and knows the market so well that if you're looking for that professional advice, I mean, she is, you know, if your lender's not doing that for you, you're not working with the right partner. So
thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that very much.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Miss Mindy, I can't wait to see what's going on in our inventory world. And you always do such a great job of telling us kind of what we should be doing right now in the market. So let us know, like, what's this look like?
Yeah, so first let me say, I do hope Chris can still join us if he's going to join us, but I'm not mad about this all-female lineup that we've got going on here this morning. Because
Sorry, you're watching. I saw you on Facebook that you're watching us. So we mean this only in the
I mean, Dawn knows I got a soft spot for an all-female lineup. So I am super jazzed to be here with you guys this morning, because I do think that is a powerhouse of women that you see on the screen here. And I think that there's a lot of really good things we can come up with here in the next few minutes. So I'm excited to be here. We do have some really good updates about what's happening in the market. What I love about sharing this information every week is it really does make you feel some sense of control over the things that you can't control in the world, right? And there's a lot of pieces of our real estate market that are predictable. There's a lot of things we can't control for. We don't know always what's going to be happening with the interest rates, although Amber can always give us a really good idea of what she's expecting to come. There's a lot of things we can't control for, but what we can look at, and if we look at regularly, we can start to predict, is the balance between supply and demand. And you guys will see I'm publishing an article this week in the Gilbert Sun News about what's happening in the real estate market. And we say just that. The driving factor for what will be happening in the real estate market is, do we have enough houses for people to buy? If we have not enough houses for people to buy, they will continue to be more expensive. Period. End of story. That is our driver. And so when we look at today, right, how that's looking, you know, we are starting to see an increase in the inventory in the valley. So we're only at about 55% less inventory than we had last year. So again, we do not have enough houses for people to buy. But remember, that number is down from almost 80% less inventory than we had a year ago. So that is a pretty significant difference. We have made quite a bit of gain in the amount of inventory that we have available. We're sitting over 5,000 listings. We dipped as low as about 3,600 listings. So that's a significant increase in what we had available in the valley. Now, does that mean you as a buyer are going to go out and you have several days to look at properties and you can think on it and you have just, you know, all the time in the world and a million to choose from? No, we're not anywhere near that yet. But we are headed closer to that direction. And if you're watching the Market of the Moment every week, this should not be a surprise, because we've been talking about this for 12 weeks. So we are on a trend. Now, what's really interesting is that if we look at how quickly our prices appreciated and how fast our supply plummeted, we were on an almost straight up trend, right? I mean, it was increasing at such a quick pace. What is so great to see is that our coming down from that trend. And again, when I say coming down, I'm not talking about prices coming down. I'm talking about an increase in supply, right? An increase in the amount of homes that are available. We're coming down from that trend at a much slower pace. And that is very healthy. That is great news to see that our decline from this fast-paced increase and 35% appreciation year over year, which equates to an average about $100,000 in equity year over year, which is just unbelievable. We're seeing the decline from that be very slow. And that is great news for everybody trying to get in the market. I think right now you're seeing, you know, a ton of different advice, right, columns for buyers out there about what they should and shouldn't be doing, and should they wait and they shouldn't wait. And, you know, I think the key here is, when we advise people to wait until a buyer's market to buy, we're essentially saying that when we hand you the keys to your home, your price will be declining before you step over the threshold. Now, who wants to do that? Nobody, right? I mean, that just doesn't make any good business sense. So I think when we look at a seller's market, we need to be talking about it as an opportunity market, because it really is an opportunity for both buyers and sellers. Sellers to sell at a great price and to get all the terms that they need to be able to make a move, and buyers to be able to buy into something that's going to continue to appreciate. Now, at some point, it won't be 35% appreciation year over year, right? At some point, that's going to slow down, and that's okay. That's healthy. But it's got to go from 35 to 25 to 10 to 5 before we're even talking about being in a balanced market, right? So we've definitely got some time there before that happens, which means that houses are going to continue to get more expensive as long as there are not enough of them. And we do expect to see some more inventory up this summer because people are going to be coming out of forbearance. We don't think they're going to walk away from the $100,000 or $200,000 of equity that they have in their home and just give up their house. That doesn't make any sense. But they will likely be 15 to 20% of those people who are going to put their house on the market, and they're going to make $100,000 to $200,000. They may go into a high-priced rental, or they may come up with some other living situation with their family. But now they've got a bank account of $100,000 or $200,000 that they can repair any other financial issues that they've had over the last couple of years. And so I do think that that's going to continue to add to our inventory, which again, these are all really healthy changes. So I think at the end of the day, the key takeaway is that we are seeing a cooling trend. It is healthy. It's happening at a very slow pace, which is good. There is a sense of urgency around getting in while the interest rates are low, getting in while the houses will likely still appreciate another 5% from where they are today. And for our sellers to understand that you won't know a change in the market until you're headed in a different direction, telling you we're headed in that direction. So there's no less risk than making a move today when you know all of the things that are there, right? And so I think if you don't have a partner in real estate, you don't have a partner in lending, you don't have a partner in title, you don't have people that are staying exceptionally close to this data, now is absolutely the time to find that person.
100%. Yeah, very well said. Very well said. I love the opportunity market. As you can see, I couldn't help myself but to put it on Facebook. So I'm like, okay, opportunity market. I have to find something else way I could talk about opportunity market now, because I love that so much. Because, you know, you hear so many agents out there, you know, gosh, I don't want to work with any more buyers. I don't want this. Oh my goodness. Like, are you kidding me, Mindy? Do you want to work with buyers right now?
Absolutely. These are your clients for life. Unless you're planning on changing industries when there's any type of a shifting, or you're just in this for the short time. I mean, if this is your career, you're building relationships with people that will last. Your focus should be on who can take advantage of this current market. Not everybody can take advantage of every market. And that's also okay. I mean, we're not, again, I say this all the time, but we're not talking about shoes. We're not talking about handbags. We're not talking about expendable items that people just decide that they're not going to buy or use because of what's happening in the world. This is housing, and you always need housing. So your job as a real estate professional is to find the people who this current market serves and help them to take advantage of it.
Right. Yep. 100%. And, you know, those buyers you're working with, they have friends and family members and people, and we're going to talk about database. So this is a good segue almost into the database conversation too, because, you know, those are all people that you could be dripping on and maybe, you know, again, maybe sell a house today or list their house, you know, who knows? But yeah, turning down business is never a great idea. And honestly, I'd be excited if you know, buyers, listings, whatever, take it all, because honestly, it's all called your business. That's all called your gold. Your database is your gold, right? That's your, you know, that's your livelihood. I mean, everybody drives to want to have a referral database business, right? Nobody wants to just constantly have to go after new every single day.
And if you're coming from a place of contribution, there is always something that you can share with people. And I think that's probably something that all of us on this call can share today with the folks that are watching. If we do have real estate professionals that are watching and aren't sure how they're going to finish up the last half of their year, or aren't sure who are those people, Mindy, that can take advantage of the market, or what am I supposed to say to those people? I think everybody on this call can probably share a couple of suggestions of messages that really come from a place of contribution that allow you to connect with people.
100%. 100%. Well, thank you. Well, interesting on all the trends that are going on, and love seeing that we still really are in a very healthy market, even with what's going on. And so we've got these buyers, trying to get these listings. Let's talk about our databases a bit, okay? And I think everybody on this call could share something here on what would be a great strategy around touching that database and what that looks like. Dena, as our director of marketing, maybe I'm going to have you go ahead and dip into this first, and then we'll kind of see how Mindy touches her database and what she's looking at her database right now to get her through the rest of the year and how that looks. Obviously, we're halfway through the year, so you can look at your goals right now and say, where am I at and how am I hitting them? And your database plays a big part of that and looking into that. So Dena, why don't you start a little bit on what maybe a resource Fidelity has, or what we could talk about a little bit that you may or may not be taking advantage of, because it's an absolute game changer for your database.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think that in today's world, everybody's anxious for connection. We just came out of a tough year, and it was tough for different people for different ways, but people are definitely hungry for connection. And I think you got to engage them where they're at, whatever that looks like. If you've got folks that are open for one-on-one meetings, dinners, coffee, happy hours, do it. People definitely are in the mode of connection right now. And we talk about this all the time, but find your clients, your sphere, your folks on the socials. Social media has made it so easy and so much less expensive for us to stay in touch with our network and our community. And there's a million different ways that you can do it. I definitely see a lot of success these days with people connecting with intention on social once they have kind of wrapped their arms around making sure that they're following and connecting with all of their past clients, whether that's using private lists or private groups. I definitely see that you can maximize the heck out of your socials by taking the business outside of it and making it personal. I mean, agents, I love what Mindy said about, coming from contribution, like there's one place for content on becoming the real estate expert, right? But your folks that you've worked with, they want to know what's going on in your personal life too, So whether that's stuff that's going on with your family, or, connecting with a charity that you're passionate about, and inviting them and to be a part of that community and come alongside you to support you. Definitely, there's so many intangible things that come with that you can share on your socials in a very powerful way, where you've never been able to have that many eyeballs paying attention to what you're doing. I mean, it's all about touches. Cost you nothing. Cost you nothing to talk about what you're doing. And yeah.
Yeah, I love that, Dena. I agree with you 1,000,000%. What would you say, as a business professional, real estate agent, what should that look like on social for them? Like how often, like what does that look like on it, whether it's a daily, a weekly touches kind of thing to stay and what's considered a reply? Is it that I like it, or should I be putting, gosh, I love that dress or something on there, or something to that nature? Shoes, whatever.
Well, I always say don't be a fly-by-liker. So as much as, I think people like when you go in, you heart and you like, there's nothing more powerful than creating a powerful conversation through engagement that leads to taking that online conversation offline. So whatever is going to connect with them in a way that you guys are meeting one-on-one, and definitely commenting and contenting is powerful. DMing people, if you don't want to be public about your feedback on something that somebody shared, you can totally do that in their DMs and tell them, hey, by the way, I saw, Susie just turned 5. Oh my gosh, your family looks so cute. Where did you get your cake? That kind of stuff. I think anytime you can create a two-way conversation, it definitely makes a big difference. And if people are commenting on your stuff, you definitely want to make sure you're applying to all of those. And as far as, getting more visibility on your posts, the algorithms today are definitely favoring those that are engaging, and not the kind of engagement where it's like you're literally replying to every single comment on your original post at the very same time. You have to kind of do it sporadically. So commenting back to one person and then waiting a couple hours and commenting back to another one. And I do think they reward you for taking that conversation to your DMs too, where you then become more visible to those people that you're private messaging.
Interesting. And how often should an agent, whether it's personal or business, be posting?
I mean, it depends on your comfort level, but I definitely think there's enough stuff going on that you should be engaging with your community daily through whatever platforms you're on. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot that's going on, and people like the behind the scenes kind of stuff, every day is definitely not too frequent.
So I knew you were going to say that.
No, you don't love that, but
how about once a week? I'm a good weeker. Social.
It depends on your goals.
Yeah, find one day and talk about it. Yeah.
But honestly, a lot of it on business pages too, a lot of it can get pre-scheduled out, So, I mean, in our world, I'm managing multiple platforms and multiple business pages. And, it doesn't take me more than, an hour a week to plan and schedule everything intentionally. Now, of course, I could be doing more. We all can, but we got other stuff to do too. So.
Right. The web sucks you in just a bit.
Yes.
The socials.
Yes. Well, that's why the private lists are great too, because if you put all of your VIP clients in a private list, then you're not just scrolling through all the noise, right? Because if you only have 10 minutes, you want to make the most of those 10 minutes. So you can do the concept of 5 in, 5 out. So you go, you comment on 5 people's posts that are on your private list, then you go in their DMs, make 5 separate messages to 5 different people, and then you're out. You can do that in 10 minutes or less a day and create some pretty powerful conversations.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's key, right? It's consistency is key. So, yes, every day is absolutely, for some level of engagement, is not too frequent for sure. I mean, there is so much changing between your personal, your professional, the market, the interest rate. I mean, there is more than enough content to at least engage daily. But I think the key is figure out what you can maintain from a consistency perspective, commit to that, and continue to do that regularly, right?
Without burning out. I totally agree with you. We usually backfill. I'm like, okay, so how much money or time do you want to spend when it comes to, your strategy, and what does that look like? And based on your goals and what you're trying to achieve, we can figure out if you've only got 10 minutes a day, let's use them intentionally on the socials.
Right. Well, my favorite conversation with Dena in past years was her goal for how many people, and this was didn't really have to do with social media. This was also many years ago before Facebook and Instagram and everything became, all that. And it was 500 people a week that she had to touch. And I said, that's a crazy goal. Like, how do you touch 500 people a week? Today, Dena, it must be 2,000 a week, right? Based on social media. I don't know.
It's a lot more. It's definitely a lot more. Yeah.
Right. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to quadruple that goal to make it make sense today. Anyway, awesome. So let's switch over to Mindy for a minute. Mindy, I'd love to know kind of what your database touches look like, whether it's social, mail, events, whatever it is. Like, what does that look like for you with your database?
Yeah, so we're super intentional. I love that Dina used that word because I think it is important about our brand, what it looks like, and the consistency and delivery of our messages and events and opportunities for people. So I know you guys have heard me say it before, but our focus is really, we serve the community in 3 ways. We serve them through real estate. We serve them by empowering women in leadership and business. And we serve them by supporting nonprofit organizations that support youth. And those 3 things are consistent with who we are as a team, the population that we serve here in the East Valley, and really the things that light us up that we enjoy. And so when we look at achieving our goals, all of those pillars, if you will, are what help us get to our goal of how many families we can serve. And we are on pace to serve 200 families this year. So as we look at our second half, we make sure that the events and the communications all align with that. So first is really educating and empowering people to make good decisions in real estate. So the way that we do that is we write each month for the Gilbert Sun News their market update. So if you're a real estate agent out there, you're not currently writing for a newspaper, a magazine, a website, or whatever it is, find some way to consistently educate your community and become the expert of choice. That could be for your neighborhood Facebook page. That could be starting a neighborhood Facebook page. That could be writing a newsletter to your neighborhood or to a farm area. But position yourself as the expert of choice with the educational information for your real estate business. So that's one piece. We also have consistent messaging to our database around, we write an article every Thursday that we post on our Facebook page about some buying or selling topic or tip. And then that also gets emailed out to our database. We do a newsletter every Friday, which is electronic, that goes out to our database, that again reiterates market information, talks about any open houses that we're having and any events that we're having coming up. And then we do a monthly What's Up Southeast Valley, which is a Facebook Live where we deep dive into the market, all the same things that I just talked about, and then we highlight a local nonprofit or a business partner of ours. And so that is really consistent messaging that we do on social. We do it out to our database, but it's really about educating and empowering and supporting our community. Yesterday,
and Mindy, you guys were just freaking recognized for doing exactly that. And the Amy Jones group received a big award from the Chamber of Commerce.
I love it. She's got it right there.
Awesome. I have it right here.
Well, congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
I am so proud of this. So I'm not doing this for my ego. I'm doing this because this is why we serve our community and do what we do. And to be recognized only means that I get to do more of it. And so I was so giddy to get it yesterday from the Gilbert Chamber of Commerce, their Community Advocacy Award. And I'm definitely one of those people that when I get awards, I get instant guilt in my belly of I should be doing more. I need to be doing more to deserve this award and to continue to deserve it. And that's just the fire in your belly, right? I mean, that's what just keeps you constantly looking at ways to serve. And so, yes, that is absolutely at the core of everything that we do at the Amy Jones Group. So all of our communication to our clients and out to the community comes from a place of contribution, comes from a desire to serve and a desire to give back. So that's my jam.
I think that from what I see, what differentiates what you do with your database so much than others is the consistency. Like so many times, you'll start something, but then you'll go on vacation and then it doesn't pick back up, or it gets hard, or you get busy, or someone leaves or whatever. And it's like the consistency of your marketing communication is unreal. And so it builds instant trust with everyone when they see the consistency, because it just shows them that you've got your stuff together, you are a professional. And so I think that with database stuff too, what's so important is just being consistent, picking something that you are going to do all the time, and whatever that is, whatever that means for you. But I love your consistency. It is inspiring. And so just congratulations, because it's not like you're just doing 1 or 2 things. I mean, you have so much that you're doing, and it's incredible. how you just
and we've
are always doing
built it, right? I mean, we've built it over time. And also we have a great marketing director, Tanya. We also have a staff who does this. I mean, it's been a process. And it doesn't mean you can't do it as an individual agent. It starts with one thing, right? And then you build on that. But to me, that consistency has been so important from the beginning. It was like, what can we take on that we can continue to do? So like, What's Up Southeast Valley, I looked back, we've done that for almost 3 years. I had a baby, my team did it. I got in a bus accident, my team did it. I mean, literally, like anything that could happen over 3 years with a group of moms and, you know, people raising families and running communities has happened, and we've remained consistent. And so I think it's about picking your thing, making sure it's authentic to who you are, and so you're serving the community through it, you're doing the right thing, and then you can build on that over time. And I know, Amber, you guys, there's several things that you do with our clients, because I see it, that is authentic to your brand, communicates consistently, comes from a place of contribution. I mean, I would love if you would share some of the things that you do with your database too.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, I think the consistency thing is huge. So we do the same thing. Like, I believe that anything that you're going to do in personal or business life, it's all about having it pre-planned. Like I'm a really good winger. Like I can fly on by the seat of my pants really well, but not well enough to make it better than a pre-planned calendar. So doing a marketing calendar. So if you, like many of us, got, sloppy during COVID time, right? It was different. It was just weird. And maybe some things fell through the cracks that we used to do. You still have half the year to like get it back in, rein it in, and build your calendar for the rest of 21. And then when you're in October, November timeframe, start looking at 2022 and lay out your marketing for the entire year. We are all so busy. We're never really sitting around being like, what should I do today? Maybe I'll plan a client appreciation event, But if you have the calendar, then you just follow it and you just put them in there. Like, this is when I'm going to do a appreciation event. This is when my mail needs to go out. This is when I'm sending this email blast. And you just follow the calendar, and it's so much easier. And so what do you want your marketing to look like? So for us, we do a video to our database every month. And that's just how we're going to add value to them, what's going on in the market, connecting. We do a mail piece every month. So I rotate between evidence of successes, which are going to be about business, testimonials, program changes, showing that we're in it, we're professional, we're doing a great job. And then letters of the heart, which is going to be more just what's going on in my life, that connection piece. And it's set up every month which one is going to be going out. And then we do anniversary calls. So for the first 5 years, we call every year just to say, oh my gosh, congratulations. Can you believe it's been 3 years? And then we have like 10 questions that we go through and ask them about, has your employment changed? Has your income changed? Have you made any improvements to the house? Are you thinking about making any moves? And then we do our A to Z calls, which I've promoted forever to all my partners, which is every week we have a letter and we call that last name. And so there's 26 letters.
I love this number.
52 weeks in the year. So then we're calling everyone twice a year. And it's just the service call. It's the check-in. Hey, we're here. How's your mortgage? And it's amazing how we build relationships over all the years of doing this. They expect it. They know that we're going to call. And we just build on the conversations, right? The goal is every time that we have one of these A to Z calls, we try to learn one new thing about the client. We do all about you forms on all of our clients. So we get to know them, like where do they like to eat? What's their favorite drink, coffee, tea, favorite hobby, right? And if it's been over 3 years, then we'll be like, hey, can we update your all about you form real quick? It's really important to us that when we are catering to you, we're catering in a way that you're going to most appreciate. And so different things like that, just to show them that we do care, that it's more than just a mortgage to us. It's like a very long-term relationship. And it's just about the plan. It doesn't have to be uber complicated. It's just laying out the plan.
Well, and I think right now there are so many messages to share, right? I mean, when we talk about 35% annual increase in appreciation, how many people can just drop their PMI? All they need to do is call, right, their lender and see if their loan allows them to just drop their PMI without a refinance or anything. And a real estate agent can certainly assist if they need something, but to be able to call and to say, my area is appreciating 30+%, and I think I probably can drop my PMI. I mean, there are so many things for us to communicate to our clients. It's a great time to do a refinance. It's a great time to do a cash out. You can do a home equity line of credit. Did you know what is your interest rate? I mean, there's so many conversations for us to have right now. And I think that's the beauty of a market like the one that we're in now, is we're being served up so many opportunities to connect with people. It's not a difficult conversation to have. We have so much good news to be able to share right now.
Well, and what I love about what you said too, Amber, because I love your system on the calls. Pick 20 the day every day you call a different letter, and that way it's not overwhelming. I mean, until you get to the M's and the T's and the S's, I'm not sure, but nevertheless. But what I love about that is you just gave yourself one reason, at least once a year, to call. I mean, you have a million other reasons too, but at least one month right there, a reason to call someone for whatever reason. Maybe they do want to move, and you're going to call the real estate agent that they worked with and said, hey, Mindy, guess what? We made our yearly anniversary call, and boy, they're thinking of moving. Just want to make you in the loop just in case, So reason to call and ask a million questions that have to do with business, but you were calling on personal. I mean, it's like a genius,
Yeah.
It's
just about the structure, right? I just think that and there's so much with like the way our brain is wired that if we have to make too many decisions, there's too many choices of things, we always just take the easier way out. But if we just set that it's a rule, like it's a rule that we're going to call our clients on their anniversary, we do it because we said this is what we do, right? So we just have to create, I think, more rules in our business that we just follow, instead of we tend to, fly by the seat of our pants a little bit too much. And so I think that's the key. And like I was doing anniversary calls yesterday, and my message recently has been like, hey, home values have gone up rapidly. And I don't know when the last time you did an insurance review with your insurance agent, but you should just check and make sure your replacement cost is where it needs to be. Because, I don't know how often insurance agents are reaching out to talk about that. And you'd hate to find out that you were underinsured at a time when you really needed it. And then, with our agents, what I'm hearing more and more is buyers or my clients calling me and saying, hey, I just got a postcard in the mail from OfferPad that said I could sell my house for $330,000. I just bought it a year ago for, $250,000. I'm going to sell. Can you qualify me to buy? And I'm like, whoa, yes, I can definitely get you qualified to buy, but we have to loop in your realtor and have this conversation. We don't want to work with OfferPad, but they're getting these pieces of mail from all over the place. And so if you aren't the one providing your client this information and this value, they're getting it from someone else, and they could potentially leave you. And even if you have clients on HomeBot, I love HomeBot. It's a great touch every month, but we all know that HomeBot is having trouble keeping up with the values of the market. I mean, it's an automated valuation tool, and I don't think it was ever built for 35%, appreciation. So, but what's really great is to just say, hey, client, I was thinking about you. I was reviewing your HomeBot. I know you took a look at it. I wanted to just take a minute to get you a really customized analysis, because I don't know if you know, but we're at 35% year-to-date appreciation. And the system, I think, is having trouble keeping up with this, incredible increase. So I did this for you. Do you have any questions? Do you have, are you thinking about making any changes in the next 12 months? Like, wow, right? And if we're quieter because people are traveling and, it's not as active right now, now's the time. It's super hot. You don't want to be outside. Sit at home, bust out a bunch of CMAs every day, email them off, make the phone call. I think there's lots of business to be had, referrals to be generated by doing that activity.
Absolutely. And Amber, speaking of activity, we had an incredible event at your office. And I mean, the call frenzy. I mean, how many leads? Do you know how many leads ended up coming in?
Yeah, I think it was like 16 leads that got generated, and like that hour of calling that we did. And it's fun, and it's just having that structure.
And those are listings, I think, right?
Yes.
Weren't they listings?
Yeah.
16
Yeah.
listings, not just leads. Like there were a lot of other leads for future, whether buys or sells. but actually listings, guys, it was incredible day.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we want right now. So we've got to target those people and talking to our clients about their accurate home value. And you might think, like this buyer that I just talked to that had this example of the offer pad postcard, he just closed a year ago. So as your realtor, you're probably not thinking he's super hot and wanting to sell, but he got this information and it like opened his eyes to like, wow, I could cash out on this equity and roll it into a single family home because I'm in a condo and I'm over condo life. And so we just never know who is going to pique their interest, or it's going to go down a path of like, well, I've really wanted to remodel. And it's like, okay, well, maybe you have the equity now. Maybe you can do a line of credit or a refinance. So I just think it's invaluable to be giving them this content, this data right now.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see more and more companies coming out with solutions for our market here, because when they see 35% appreciation, they do see opportunity for themselves, for their clients, for their consumers, for their real estate partners, whoever it is. So we already have a ton of these kind of companies here locally, and I think you're just going to see more of them over the next year or so. And so I think what's important is they do have big marketing budgets behind them. Like Amber said, you're seeing a lot of postcards come out, and it doesn't necessarily mean that those aren't solutions for you. It just means you really need to understand what all of the options are for you, so that you can make an informed decision about which direction is the right one. And you can't do that if you're only going off of one of those companies' guidance. So if you have a real estate partner and a lender partner, you can bring those two together and say, here's my situation, here's what I'm trying to accomplish. I got this postcard, or I got this HomeBot email, or I got this, whatever that communication looks like. It's piqued my interest. And now I want to sit down and have a conversation so I can become informed about what is the best option for me, and then they get to make that option, right? So I think when you get the phone calls about people want to sell your house, you get the postcards in the mail, you see the advertisements on TV, you get the emails, that should just tell you that there is market opportunity. And then reach out to an a trusted advisor who can really give you an update on what's actually happening here, so you can make the best choices for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. 1,000,000%.
Yep.
Yeah. And for those real estate agents watching, I mean, it doesn't take you out of the loop. Even if they decide to take that offer, you're representing them. So, having that representation by a professional real estate agent is so important. And don't think that you waive your right to have that, which is not the case at all. Awesome, guys. So let's talk about a little bit, Dena. I want to dip just a tiny bit into what's REIA look like here. What's going on in the REIA world? I'd love to, Chris didn't make it on, but this is a big deal because we are launching next month back live in person. It will be by invitation, only as far as folks coming, because you have to RSVP. But Dena, you want to chat a little bit about that?
Sure. So, we created the Phoenix REIA, which is the Phoenix Real Estate Investors Association, because we wanted to create a safe space for people that were interested in any kind of real estate investing to learn about all of the different ways you can invest in real estate and top strategies for somebody that was like maybe brand new, they'd never done a deal before. And also for those that are like the biggest players in the market, locally and nationally. So we were going in person pretty strong for, I think, probably about a year and a half. And then the COVID's hit, so we've been going virtual for the last year. And we're still covering really fun topics every month. This year we've done smart marketing tactics. Last month we talked about, different kinds of proprietary platforms for better ROI using text messages. We've talked about, we had Brent Daniels on with TTP, talked about getting massive deals in today's market by talking to more people. We had our friend Javier on, and we talked about how to find hidden deals in low inventory markets. We've talked about, self-employment tax strategies and how to optimize those for business with a CPA named Philip Beck. We've also talked about dominating a distressed market. And we've had commercial market real estate investing. That was a pretty hot topic right around the election. We've also talked about the status of evictions with Zona Law attorney Mark Zinman. And then, the forecast of business planning to really make your goals happen in 2021 with Justin Colby and Ryan Robeson. And then we started the year with the return of the iBuyers and the impact on investors. So we definitely try every single month to come up with really cool topics that people want to learn about and have the best in the business sharing their strategies and successes in practical ways. And so starting next month, we are going to kick things off for, like Sharon said, it's going to be invitation only. So definitely get with your Fidelity sales exec if you'd like to join us. But it'll be the third Tuesday, which is July 20th. We're going to do in person a happy hour, and it's just going to be focused on networking. So one of the kind of cornerstones of the association has been, the power of networking and connections. And for any of you guys who know our friend Chris Eymann, he'll take a coffee meeting with just about anybody. And the reason in the way he's built his business has not from, a lot of traditional marketing means. It's really been from taking meetings, connecting with more people, and, heavy focus on networking, which is very similar to me as well. So for those of you guys who would like to join us, it's a great group. Definitely reach out to your Fidelity sales exec, me or Sharon. We can definitely help connect you, and excited for the fall. I think we're going to stick to happy hours throughout the end of the year for a limited group, and then in 2022 open it back up to our large group format again is kind of the plan.
Awesome. Well, and the networking concept of the in-person networking, I mean, I think everyone's about zoomed out in the world here. But we're going to stay Facebook Live. I don't call this is like, we're live. We're going to continue doing this. But the in-person networking piece is you really can't replace that. And the connections that have been made from PHX REIA, whether it's between investors together, working transactions together, a real estate agent with an investor, because here's the thing too, to our real estate partners that are out there, this is not just an investor event. We have many agents that come to this because you have clients that might be investors, or you may not know they're investors. There's a great little marketing thing to go send out, or a video to go do on your Facebook or private group to your top, clients. Do you have any investments that you'd like to buy or sell? I can be that agent for you for that as well. They may not be utilizing you for that. So it's a great way to tap into another resource within your database that you might not be utilizing or even be thinking about it. So come join us, hear about it, get some great ideas that you can take to your database, make a quick video on it or something, and look like that expert that can work with your clients, whether it's a resale transaction or an investment transaction, which obviously we're seeing a lot of that going on right now, a lot.
Well, Sharon, you're exactly right. And the opportunity for traditional agents to be able to talk to their, community about how they are also the resource for anybody that's looking to buy, sell, and invest here in our market is definitely an underleveraged conversation. And there are commercials where, your clients are going to see somebody else on TV, on radio, on YouTube ads, on social ads that basically say, I'm the person you should use for investing. But, what a better opportunity for you who's already built the relationship with that person to say, hey, I can help you with all your real estate needs.
Well, and it circles back to what Mindy was saying. It is the relationship you have with these people, and they trust you. You're their trusted advocate in their business, and letting them know that you can represent them in more than just the one way of a primary residence is so important, because I think we assume, now I'm sure Mindy doesn't, I know she's got a game plan in place for every but many out there may not be thinking of that. And I do want to circle one thing back around what Amber talked about and Mindy talked about. The reason they're so successful and everything Mindy talked about and Amber talked about, the calendar and everything, is because they're running their business like a business. And that's really what this comes down to, guys. Are you running a real estate business or are you a part-time real estate agent that just wants to get a couple transactions here or there? Okay. It's time to treat it like a business. If you're in it, this is not an easy gig, but it's a great, great, great business and great lifestyle if you treat it like a business and you come from a place of the heart and giving, like Mindy talked about, because people know that. And they know where you're coming from. Mindy, do you have anything coming up that you want to talk about? Any events or anything?
So we do have a couple of events that are coming up. We do our quarterly business mixer with Fidelity National Title each quarter, and we do that over at Parlay Kitchen and Cocktails, which is here in Chandler. And so our next one coming up is going to be on July 1st. It's from 4:30 to 6. And so if you're a local business owner or you serve a business community here, we'd love to have you out. We have new people every time, which I absolutely love. We're also partnering with Be Local magazine. They are doing a mixer for new homeowners in Gilbert. So Be Local is actually a magazine that gets mailed to every new Gilbert homeowner. And it's got resources for them to get connected with their local community. And they're doing a mixer for all new Gilbert folks, or really just anyone in the area that wants to get out. Like Dena said, people are craving that interaction. And so that's going to be on June 22nd at 4:30. And it's going to be at the Thirsty Lion on Williamsfield. And so if you want more information about either of these events that are coming up, or any of the other events that we have calendared for the remainder of the year at the Amy Jones Group, you can always visit our Facebook page, which is just Amy Jones Group. And there's an event section. Everything's listed there. And we'd love to see any of you guys out there.
That's great. Awesome. Two great events. And again, it's all about networking, guys. Get out there, get your face out there. It's good for you too. I'm just going to say it out loud. Amber, anything coming up in your world that you want to talk about?
No, nothing coming up right now.
Nothing. Just I like the hair color too, by the way.
Thank you. I'm a little lighter for summer,
I like it. It looks really nice. Dena, any other events on our end other than, that you want to just chat about for a quick sec? Yeah.
Sure. Next week on Wednesday, we have our new home happenings, and we're actually going to be talking. It's Facebook Live, or you can register for the webinar, and I can drop the link below. We are going to be talking with the folks from the Phoenician about what's coming up there. So it should definitely be fun.
That's a great conversation.
Yeah.
So don't miss out on that one for sure. That's great. And if you're ever looking for any other education, obviously you can always reach out to your Fidelity sales executive. We have stuff going on across the valley all the time. And so, if you're, whether it's social media, farming, database marketing, circle prospecting, whatever it is, we probably have something coming up on it. So, well, I love how, I'm going to follow in Dawn's footsteps by saying the hour goes very quickly. And ladies, this was a ladies' day. I like it. Like Mindy said, this was fun. I like that song, Ladies Night, but this is Ladies' Day. I don't know. Anyway, this probably should have been a happy hour market of the moment. I don't know. The ladies, we're all here dancing. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. We're always here live every week, Thursdays, 10 a.m., Facebook Live. Don Tchaikovsky will be back next week. He promised me. And thank you all for joining us today. And Amber, Mindy, Dena, thank you for all the great insight. Chris, we're sorry we missed you, but we mentioned your name at least 25 times today. And if you are looking for an awesome partner in the wholesale world or funding for financing on a high, a short-term finance kind of situation, Chris Eymann is that person for you. So anyway, everybody have a great day and stay cool out there. 116, 17.
Summer here.
Yes, summer here. Take care, everybody.
Right. Bye.
Bye.